Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dharma Helper, and this is DH Reviews. This is my Season 1, Episode 8 review of Scorpion. If you missed any of my other Scorpion reviews, there will be a link in the description down below to the playlist that you can click, or an annotation behind me on the screen to the playlist. You can click either of those, and that'll take you to the playlist that I created that has all of my Scorpion reviews in it. Also, earlier this week, I put out my Gotham Season 1, Episode 8 review, my Constantine Season 1 Episode 3 review, and my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 Episode 7 review. So if you're interested in my thoughts on those series, there will be links in the description down below to the playlist for those series, and you can check those out if you want to. That being said, Season 1 Episode 8 of Scorpion was called Risky Business, and the team was tasked with investigating the murder of this musical blogger and uncovering the truth about this program that could allegedly create the perfect song. So that's sort of the main mission of the episode, and then the side stuff that we got to see in this episode was Ralph reconnecting with his father and trying to figure out what's going on there, and then Toby and Happy and moving that relationship forward. So that being said, let's take a look at the characters of this episode, and let's start off with Walter. In this episode, Walter struggles with his feelings for Paige and his feelings for Ralph, and what's best for Ralph and Paige versus what Walter would like to see happen. And he and Ralph, again, seem to be connecting on a level that Ralph and Drew aren't. Ralph and Drew go on that field trip to the baseball game, and Ralph is not able to connect with Drew the way that he is with Walter. And then, Drew calls Walter, and Walter explains, try talking to him about statistics and mathematics and all this, and introduce that into the baseball and see if he's interested in that. And, he is. And so my thing with Walter is he going to be a better father for Ralph than Drew is? Is there going to be a competition there where Walter and Drew start to compete for Ralph and for Paige, and what effect is that going to have on the team? To me, that's only going to be a negative impact on the team. That's only going to have negative repercussions. There's going to be a boiling point, again, where that competition between the two of them, either Paige is going to get fed up or Ralph is going to have something happen to Ralph. There's going to be a boiling point with that storyline that has massive repercussions and a massive impact on the team. And so, for me, again, Walter is struggling with his feelings for Paige and also not wanting Ralph to fall into that trap that he fell into as a child. He sees Ralph as an opportunity to give Ralph a childhood that he didn't have. And the best way to do that is kind of up in the air at the moment. It's sort of open to interpretation. So that's kind of my thoughts on Walter, and I'm interested in seeing where that relationship between he and Drew and he and Paige and he and Ralph develops. And again, that boiling point. So let's talk about Toby in this episode. Toby, again, he and Happy, as I've been saying in my reviews, have been developing a relationship and developing almost a romance. And in this episode, Toby tries to take the next step and ask Happy out on a date, but he gets beat to the punch by the musician that they're helping over the course of the mission, who Happy seems to be expressing at least surface level feelings for. And so to me, again, that's going to be an impact on Toby, because Happy is the only one that Toby can open up to, and the only one that Toby can talk to about, his ex-wife and all this stuff. He can't talk to Walter about that stuff because Walter doesn't understand emotions. And he can't talk to Sylvester about it because Sylvester understands too many emotions. Sylvester's got his own sort of problems to work out. He can't talk to Paige about it because he doesn't trust Paige enough. He's a psychologist at heart. And psychologically, he doesn't trust Paige enough to open up to her. He doesn't have that connection with her that he has with Happy. And so to see them drift apart in this episode is going to have a negative impact on Toby and his performance on the team, I think. And what he does now is going to be really crucial for him and for that storyline in the future. I think he's going to give it a second chance, and he's going to keep it up. But again, it's not just him. The reciprocation of it, the idea of when is Happy going to recognize that Toby has feelings for her, that's going to be an important part to play in their sort of relationship, in their storyline. It's going to take, to me, because again, Happy in this episode, let's talk about Happy in this episode. Happy has feelings for, at least on a surface level, the musician that they work with to find out about this program. And so, again, she doesn't understand that Toby has feelings for her. So for me, it's going to take a show of a grand nature, of a big show of affection from Toby to finally have that click for Happy. And that's going to be kind of fun to watch and fun to see Toby analyze the situation in a psychological level and come up with a big sort of showing of affection, a big gesture. And so that's pretty much Happy and Toby in this episode. Let's talk about Ralph. Ralph in this episode tries very hard to reconnect with his father and to figure out common ground with his father, and he does that in sort of the typical childlike way where he tries to fail that test, that math test, so that he can connect with his father on an intellectual level. And that's sort of indicative of that childlike behavior where they don't fully understand the situation, but they're doing their best to do the right thing. And so that relationship again of Ralph and Drew and Ralph and Walter, how that affects Ralph is going to be important moving forward, and his progress so far with the team. Ralph is a smart kid, but he's not there emotionally, right? So what impact is he going to have? His quest to reconnect with his father is going to conflict with all the progress that he's made on the team, I think. And I think that's going to be a problem that they're going to bring up. And the idea of who is he going to gravitate to more? Is he going to gravitate to Walter and the intellectual side more? Or is he going to seek out that idealistic family of himself, his mother, Paige, his father, Drew? Is he going to try to solve that problem intellectually and sort of seek out that? And how is that rift going to create either way, whether he picks Walter, whether he picks Drew? How is that rift that he creates going to impact the team and impact Walter's relationship with Paige, or Walter's relationship with Ralph, or Paige's relationship with Drew, and Paige's relationship with Ralph, Drew's relationship with Ralph as well? That's going to be really important for them to figure that out and to figure out a happy medium. And so let's talk about Paige. And Paige in this episode, played by Katharine McPhee, the American Idol star, the star of Smash on NBC. Obviously, you got to get her to sing at some point, and they got her to sing in this episode, and that was pretty cool to watch. I'm still waiting, fingers crossed, for the musical episode where everybody gets to sing, everybody gets to dance. That'd be something cool to look at for maybe season 2 or for later down the line in season 1. But in terms of this episode, Paige again is wrestling with the idea of Drew coming back into her life and into her son's life. And in my opinion, Paige is going to pick what's best for Ralph. Paige is going to follow Ralph's lead. She does that over the course of the season so far, and there's no reason for her not to do that moving forward. Whatever Ralph decides, whatever is best for Ralph, she's going to take that lead, and she's going to go in that direction. Again, that idea of the relationship between those 4 characters is really interesting. And it's going to... There's going to be repercussions. It's a boiling point. It's a powder keg of emotions right now. And when that explodes, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. Whether Ralph chooses Walter, or Ralph chooses Drew, or Ralph chooses neither of them, and the two of them, Paige and Ralph, go out on their own and decide that this whole Team Scorpion thing is not the best thing for Ralph, there's going to be repercussions, and that's going to be a serious thing that they're going to have to deal with, and Paige is going to have to deal with. And the progress that Walter and Paige have made is in jeopardy at this point, just emotionally. And so that kind of covers my thoughts on characters in this episode. I'm interested to see if we see more from Drew and we see more from the musician guy that was expressing an interest in Happy. But other than that, we didn't see a lot of Cabe this episode. I want to see more from Cabe and more from his daughter and that whole storyline. But that's my thoughts on characters in the episode. So my general thoughts on the episode, a solid episode, and I can't really complain that it was a slower episode or that it wasn't very team-centric. Because, again, I was asking for that. I was asking for the Ralph episode and the Paige episode, and we got that here. And so I can't really complain that it was a slower episode that took time away from the team and focused more on Ralph and Paige, because that was what I was asking for. So, solid episode. I'm interested to see the boiling point for Ralph and Walter and all that, like I've been saying, and there's got to be a point where all these sort of all of these things come to light, and that's going to be sooner rather than later, I think, because Walter doesn't have the capability to suppress that. He's going to express himself in a way that brings that to the surface, and he and Drew are going to have a confrontation, or he and Paige are going to have a confrontation. Something's going to happen where that whole thing has to get resolved ASAP. Solid episode. Not the best episode, but not the worst episode. Again, I can't fault the episode for giving me what I asked for. If what I asked for was a little bit slower than what I was used to, or if it was a little bit less action-packed, or a little bit less team-centric than I was used to, that just comes with the territory. And so, again, pretty good episode, not the best, not the worst. I'm interested to see where these things develop. Hats off to the writers, to the show, for developing the Toby Happy stuff in an interesting direction. Other than that, that'll do it for this review. So if you like the review, leave a thumbs up so I know I'm headed the right direction. If you have anything you want to add or talk about, comment down below in the comments section, or hit me up on Twitter at the DH Reviews. I'm always interested to talk with you guys. Excuse me. I'm always interested to talk with you guys about the episodes. So hit me up on Twitter at the DH Reviews, or comment down below and talk about the episodes. Share this video out there on Tumblr, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you got to get the video out to grow the channel. And if you're interested in those reviews that I talked about, my Gotham, Constantine, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or Scorpion reviews, if you want to see more of these reviews, subscribe to the channel so we can grow the channel. Very briefly, some announcements for you guys. I talked about this in another video, but I'd like to do 2 more live streams, and those will be for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. winter finale and the Agent Carter winter premiere. So the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. winter finale is on December 9th, I believe. And the live stream will either be on December 10th or that Saturday. Again, 6:45 in the evening, so everybody has time to have their day and just sit down and relax and watch the episode. So whichever day works for you guys, I can do either one. The only reason I would prefer maybe to do on Wednesday is just so I can avoid spoilers and stuff and watch the episode fresh. But that's sort of where my head's at for that. I have some interesting stuff in the works for my Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. live stream, so that'll be something for you guys to watch out for. That's why I started to talk about it a little bit early. We have a lot of time to work out the details, but I have some interesting stuff planned, some fun stuff planned for those of you who show up and for those of you who watch the live stream. So that's why I wanted to get it out of the way early. The Agent Carter premiere is, I think, on January 6th. So again, January 7th or that weekend is probably where I'm going to do the live stream. Let me know in the comments down below what would work best for you. With that being said, I think that covers everything. So again, I've been Dharma Helper. This has been DH Reviews. Have an excellent weekend, guys. Thanks so much for your support this week, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.